In 2000, Ehud Barak offered them 97% of the territories back, and they refused it again and again and again.
It's hard to breathe, but that's all right.
I find it shocking how the whole world gets Israel and Palestine twisted. But in this clip you're about to watch, Brigitte Gabriel cut through the whole propaganda with pure facts. Even Piers was left stunned. Let's check this out.
So you would categorise what they've been doing as resistance, not terrorism?
They are resistance groups, as the vast majority of humanity is represented by governments that define them as resistance factions, including the government of Switzerland. What's more neutral than the government of Switzerland? It doesn't prescribe these organisations, for the record.
So to be clear, you think they're resistance, not terrorists?
Yes.
Okay, we got there.
Okay, so he believes Hamas are resistance fighters, not terrorists. All right.
Let me bring in Brigitte Gabriel. Brigitte, you listen to what Loki has to say. He's not alone in this thought. I've heard this from many pro-Palestinian guests on Uncensored in the last year. What is your response?
Well, I want to start with the accusation of the occupation. Israel was minding its own business ever since it existed. It reached out to the Arabic world. It wanted to have peace with the Arabic world. In 1964, when the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, was founded, the West Bank was in the hands of Jordan. It was Jordan. And Gaza was in the hands of Egypt. It was Egypt. So the PLO was founded in 1964, not because of any occupation. They wanted to drive the Jews into the sea and get rid of every single Jew in the Middle East. Israel tried repeating. The only reason the Palestinians lost in 67 and they lost Gaza and the West Bank is because they preempted an attack against Israel. And over again, Israel reached out to them to make peace with them. In 2000, Ehud Barak offered them 97% of the territories back, and they refused it again and again and again.
97%, and they refused it. And mind you, this woman is not Jewish. She's not from Israel. She's Lebanese.
In 2005, when Israel withdrew out of Gaza, they said, okay, we're going to give you your own state. We're going to give you your own territory. Israel forcibly removed its own people fighting the IDF by force, removed them out of Gaza. Not only to remove the people, they dug out dead Jews' bones from the cemeteries because they knew exactly what the Palestinians are going to do to the cemeteries. So in 2005, when Israel withdrew out of Gaza, there wasn't one Jew alive or dead in Gaza. They turned over the key to them and said, okay, great, now build your own place. You are independent. I know people that Israel even left them the greenhouses. Israel was exporting 50 million flowers to Europe in 2004 out of Gaza. The greenhouses, the fruits, the vegetables, the flowers. They left them to the Palestinians so the Palestinians can start they can have an industry where they can support themselves. I know a businessman from New York who even raised $14 million to make sure the Palestinians will be able to get paid salaries as they move over and they continue building the greenhouses.
Wow.
And what did the Palestinians do within 24 hours after Israel withdrew? Not only they destroyed every single Jewish synagogue in the area, they destroyed the greenhouses, ripped out the pipe, and even stole the copper out of the pipe.
Okay, there's this clip here. So basically the greenhouse was dismantled. It's become like a skeleton.
Funny. אבל הבית מה רוצה לעשות? זהו, הוא רוצה לצאת מפה. ולאיפה הוא מרים את החממות?
Wow, that's crazy. Destroyed.
And then they had an election. So in their first election, the first woman elected to the cabinet of Hamas was a woman by the name Nidal, the mother of al-Mukawama, they called her, the mother of the resistance. And she ran on the platform, I killed 3 of my sons, because she had videos of her sons, she dressing them in suicide bombers to go kill Israelis. She said, I already gave up 3 for the cause. I have another 7 to give. That's why she was elected. So that's a democratic election for Hamas. Israel did not put the Palestinians in a prison in Gaza. Hamas put the Palestinians in a prison in Gaza. Gaza could have been turned into Singapore. They had the money. They had more money pouring into the Palestinian territories and still do from all over the world. And what did they do with it? Build a tunnel infrastructure underneath bigger than the subway system in New York instead of helping their people. So those who scream about the occupation, the Palestinians have brought this on themselves again and again and again.
Wow.
But do you...
She wasn't holding back. She just went in hard, you know, no watering down at all.
Palestinians have brought this on themselves again and again and again.
Wow.
But do you accept that Palestinians should have the same human rights as the rest of us?
Absolutely. All humans are equal in the eyes of God.
How can they do that? Okay, but here's the thing, Brigitte. But when it comes to this issue of occupation, I was very struck at the start of the response to October the 7th that very quickly Israel was able to turn on or off the tap of energy, the tap of water, the food supply, etc. That is only achievable if you are effectively occupying another country. Otherwise, you're not able to do it. So Israel has had this control over Gaza and the people that live there, which to me does not afford those people the same human rights as Israelis enjoy. It's inarguable because if they didn't have that control, they couldn't turn on and off the energy or the water supplies.
But why did Israel get to this point? Remember, in 2005, they gave them everything, and they said, we are out. The Israelis even fought among themselves because, you know, some people did not want to move
so don't
out
get me
of
wrong.
Gaza.
I think Hamas squandered all the money they were given, and Hamas has been the enemy of its own people. And when Hamas did what they did on October the 7th, they knew it was immediately sentencing to death thousands of their own people in the process. They knew that, right? So I think Hamas has got to go. I think Netanyahu has to go as well, and his right-wing headbang cabinet members who do speak in a genocidal way. None of this is ever going to lead to peace. But let me ask you, Brigitte, about Loki's claims about October the 7th. He says that there was this Hannibal directive. It's been much speculated. Haaretz says that they found evidence there was. The IDF has never admitted there was a Hannibal directive. But it is possible in the fog of war that day that I guess some of the casualties came because of Israeli fire. We don't know that. But Loki wants people to believe hundreds and hundreds of people who died that day on the Israeli side were killed by Israel.
I don't believe that. That has not proven. And if I have to choose between believing the Hamas talking point, who control the Ministry of Information, and the Israeli IDF, I would believe the IDF because I have lived in Israel as a Lebanese. At one point, I had a home in Lebanon, a home in Israel, and my boyfriend who lived in the West Bank at that time. And I worked as a journalist. And knowing how the IDF operates and knowing how the Israeli military operates, they operate by rules. They don't invent information like Hamas does. And when you are in the throes of things like what happened on October 7th, a lot of people do not know a lot of the facts that happened on the ground.
True.
But we do know one thing, that Hamas committed such atrocities, and we're so proud filming it and showing it that will give you goosebumps, that a lot of people can get sick, they cannot view it. And I'm shocked that Loki hasn't even viewed the footage. You have to view the footage to understand the monstrosity of the crimes that were committed on that day.
Yeah, I mean, I watched this BBC documentary which had all the footage from the music festival. And honestly, Loki, it was one of the most sickening 2 hours of my entire life.
Have you been on social media for the past year?
Yes, I have.
You have seen a constant stream of mutilated children. You have seen a constant stream of people being lifted up out
which
of
you're very
the rubble.
keen, which you're
how can you even bring into the conversation 2 hours of footage in comparison to 12 months and 77 years of this type of treatment?
So the deaths of
But I have a question for the guest. I would like to ask this question.
Listen, have you noticed how Piers reacts to Loki? It's like he's scared to interrupt him, or he respects him too much to interrupt him. If it was anybody else, Piers will have shut them down.
Now, the organisation Act for America, which you represent and are a part of, seems to be quite the patriotic outfit. It's also been criticized widely as Islamophobic. But I have some questions about the finances of your organization. It's funded by the Fairbrook Foundation, which has funded the Central Fund of Israel, the Zionist Organization of America, and also illegal settlements in the West Bank. In addition to that, your organization, Act for America, has been funded by the Becker Foundation, which has funded Christians United for Israel and the Israel Project. In addition to that, your organization was also funded by the Emez Foundation, which funded the Israel Project, the Central Fund of Israel, and the Zionist Organization of America. How, in any way, do you stand for peace when the organization which you front and presumably are employed by is also funded by organizations that are invested in illegal settlement in the West Bank?
Actually, my organization, which I run and I'm the founder and chairman, I not only work for it, was founded after September 11th to protect America against the threat of radical Islamic terrorism.
It shares funders. It shares funders with those building illegal settlements in the West Bank.
You already spoke your mind. You already spoke your mind. Now it's my time to answer. My organization was founded to impact policy in the United States, to protect the United States from the threat of radical Islamic terrorism coming from Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Hezbollah, or whoever happened the terrorist organization are. We work with Muslims. We have Muslims on our board. We have Muslims who are members. We had a key, every single conference we always had a keynote speaker who is Muslim that speaks because they care about America.
You know what? I feel like we're getting, listen, I feel like we're getting.
You are not letting me finish.
Let her finish. Let her finish, Piers Morgan. Just keep quiet. Let her finish.
I think that you're talking about.
I feel like we're getting a bit.
Fun.
Look, fascinating though it is, the makeup of your business. It's.
You see what I said? You see what I said? He finds it easy to shut down anyone else, but he can't shut down Loki.
Not really the point of what this debate is, right?
Right, it's not the point, exactly.
The point I would make, Brigitte, is this. I do think Loki has a good point about the settlements, right? What is going on in the West Bank with this rapid, aggressive expansion of settlements is completely outrageous. It's illegal, it's wrong, it shouldn't be happening. Why is it happening?
Sorry, you cut out. You mean the settlements in the West Bank?
Yeah, the expansion of settlements on the West Bank in the last year has been completely outrageous.
Well, look, there's a radical wing within Israel that wants to expand the settlements. And the settlements is an issue. I agree with you.
You're funded by the same people.
Who are very upset about
You're
the
funded
settlements.
by the same organizations.
What does this have to do with the funding, with what we're talking about? They are Americans who support the funding of protecting the United States, not Israel. Our work is devoted to protecting the United States. Has
we
nothing
have the documents.
To do.
They fund settlements.
Let's get back to the bigger picture.
Stop interrupting.
So, Brigitte, do you condemn the expansion of the settlements in the last year on the West Bank?
Say that again?
Do you condemn the expansion of the settlements on the West Bank in the past year?
Yes, I do. I think they are going overboard with the settlement.
Okay, good.
I think somebody needs to revisit looking at the settlement and how they are expanding.
Then that's good. Loki, do you condemn what Hamas did on October the 7th?
I have a question for you.
Based
on
you
what
stop
you
asking
just said about
questions for a
settlements.
minute.
I'll answer your question in a second.
She's made an admission that she condemns it.
No, she condemns the expansion of settlements.
Fine. Loki.
And these people also fund
Loki.
her.
At some point, you are going to... Loki, you are going to answer some of my questions.
Which I have done.
Okay, do you condemn what Hamas did?
You've already asked me that.
Not directly, you haven't answered.
I will not condemn people based on Israeli military talking points.
Okay, good.
But I have a question for you. I have a question for you.
You don't condemn mass murder?
Obviously, I condemn mass murder.
You won't condemn it by Hamas?
You're talking about a specific political context in which the information
No, I'm talking about mass murder of people on October the 7th.
By the Israeli military.
See, it's just absurd.
So I have a question for you.
I think you lose all credibility when you say that.
I have a question for you. I'm not concerned about whether you think or don't think I have credibility.
It's not. I don't come at this from supporting either over the other.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Wow. He's so egoistic. Wow. The way things are going, it's like whatever propaganda machine is being used is so strong, is so complicated, has got some extensive networks that, to be honest, are quite effective, because I only started finding out what's going on there when I started searching online. When I say searching, I researched deeply to check things. I listened to a lot of people talk. I kept listening to check out stuff. You know, sometimes you can filter truth from people's speeches, especially when they start agreeing. You know, there's a way it just makes sense. But saying the facts, all right, saying the facts. So far, Brigitte has been direct. She said everything straight to the point without mincing words. And if you listen to her point of view clearly, she was very balanced. She condemned some acts of Israel, especially the expansion of settlements. And she went on to also talk about facts that pro-Palestinian debaters always overlook. 2005, when Israel pulled out of Gaza. She took it back further to when Palestine were offered 97% of the land. That is crazy. In all my research, the question that keeps coming to mind is, what do they really want?
Oh, I love you more than words can say. You are me. Oh, you are the light that shine in my way. You are me. Oh, I love you more than words can say. You are me. Oh, you are the light that shine in my